Wild, untracked, remote. Some might even call it desolate. We found two snowboarders who call it paradise. Seth Westcott and Rob Kingwell have passed over Greenland countless times while circumnavigating the globe for snowboarding comps and free-ride adventures.
Greenland was just always this kind of magical place that you'd hope the clouds would be parted when you cruised over it and you got to check out the glaciers and the mountains along the coast. When we started talking about coming here this year, it was really kind of a dream come true.
Arriving in a place this far away, not a minute is lost sightseeing.
So they picked us up at the airport and the sun was out and it was like, hey, you guys want to get in the helicopter? And away we went.
Greenland is just so spectacular. It's hard to get a grasp on the scale of how big things are. It's like seeing an aircraft carrier up close for the first time. The scale is just unbelievable.
Greenland's a different kind of place, but any place with snow feels like home for Rob and Seth.
What's cool is when it's slushy, it's actually a lot more like surfing. It's just as fun or more fun sometimes than riding powder.
Most of these runs only start at about 2,000 feet above sea level. But when the run ends at sea level, well, you do the math. Kulusuk Island sits just off the southeastern corner of Greenland, which makes it isolated even from one of the most isolated places on Earth. And with fewer than 300 residents, you can have all of these nameless mountains all to yourself.
I don't think I've ever experienced a place where you visually saw how on the edge of where humans can survive is. In Antarctica, like you have like the little scientific settlements, but that's just for people that are coming down to study what's going on with the environment or the birds. And here, this is equally as remote, except this is where they live, to hunt and fish and call it home. And then you look just over here, and it's like, that wall of ice is the end of where humans can survive.
One of the interesting things about being this far north, it's dark in the winter almost all the time, and in the summer it's light almost all the time, both of which might actually make you go crazy. A pretty remote place on the planet, right next to the Arctic Circle, giant icebergs everywhere in the ocean, right next to your house. But village life in Kulusuk is kind of similar to a normal day in the neighborhood, even in the US.
Watching all these people coming out and like helping push their boats out because the wind had blown the right way that day and people could get out to go fish and hunt seals and go collect food. It's such a simplistic way of life here.
This culture, these guys are just so evolved and they're so tough. You have to be a badass to be from this town.
They're thriving that removed of an environment from the rest of human society. It's wild.
You don't have to look far to find inspiration in Greenland. It's in the strength of its people, the wildness all around, and of course, the mountains.
The sun basically kind of spins around in a little circle in one corner of the sky, and it's up almost all the time. And it gives you a lot of time to have an opportunity to go out and ride some amazing corn snow.
It's so vast. The terrain is just endless. The snowpack was just bomber, and you could go anywhere.
One of the cool things here is you can like howl with the wolves. You feel like you're a member of the pack after a while.
That joy that I used to feel hitting a 2-foot kicker in my backyard as a kid versus that joy of like pulling up to that rock and looking into the ocean the other day. Nothing's changed in like this 30-year timeline of snowboarding. It's just that I experience it in different places.